you're going to learn a lot, and you're going to forget a lot. And the main goal here is not necessarily to know all the mechanics of everything, like this is how this works, but know where to find that information and just know that something exists. Like when we talk about adoption credit, for example, we're going to go into a lot of the details on how the adoption credit works.
Yeah.
But if all you remember when you're doing someone's taxes is that there is an adoption credit, you can go back and find that.
Okay.
So even if you don't remember how the adoption credit works, you can go, oh, you adopted someone, you adopted a baby, great, there's an adoption credit. Let me go and look up how that works again.
Yeah.
If you hadn't taken this class and you never heard of the adoption credit, you might completely miss that.
Right.
Yeah. So it's not so much about knowing all of the details, but knowing where to look it up and being able to refresh your memory. And one of the reasons I'm recording this now is that you can go back and listen to me talk about it if you're more of an auditory learner than reading. But it does sound it is really daunting and complicated when you first learn it. But it's not really that bad once you're actually working on it. Especially during our tax season, we usually start off with people, their only income is W-2s, and maybe they have kids too. And the more complicated stuff comes up later in the season, because the more complicated your taxes are, the longer you have your taxes done. So the people who are in really early, their tax situation is really simple because they're not waiting for a lot of different documents. They're just like, oh, I got my W-2 at my only job today, and I'm going to go in and get my taxes done. Whereas someone who had like 3 or 4 different jobs, and they're waiting on all their W-2s are going to come in a little bit later. So people who have investment income, like they have brokerage, interest, dividends, capital gains, everything that we talked about this week, those forms aren't even due until February 15th. So they're going to be the second half of February. So like our January, early February customers are all super simple, and then it gets more complex. So you're kind of learning as you go. So you might not have to deal with any rental income at all until April, and then you might have forgotten all about it by then. But then you have these textbooks to refer to, and especially if you're working here, you have me and Eric to help refresh you on those. And other returning preparers, like Dawn, this is going to be her 3rd year. Dan and Nick, this is going to be their 2nd year, and they might be able to refresh your memory on some of these things too. So don't be overwhelmed as a first-year preparer. I mean, we are going to go through and teach you a lot, and I don't really expect you to retain all of it. I would expect you to recognize it,
yeah,
so that you know where to find it.